of the questions that's come up, can I say, over the last 48 hours is what progress has been made on changing the names of government departments. I know it seems odd, but it was in the coalition agreement. The idea that it would be really nice to have government departments that we knew what they were, rather than just have a Māori name. And that is very little progress, I have to say, has been made on it. There's been no legislation. And as I understand it, not much progress has been made on a number of issues like that just at the moment. Although Māori Awards was announced over the weekend and perceived as another attack on, good God, racist attack on Māori in this country, that was announced. That was very much a New Zealand First initiative and an ACT initiative, New Zealand First taking credit, ACT as well on that one. But Māori named departments, having single Māori names, not having an English translation nor known as, still exist. And just asking what progress has been made. All right, joining us now to talk about that and also his new speaking tour is somebody who's been very active in this space over the last 2 or 3 years, former real estate agent, property developer and a businessman, Julian Batchelor, who you'll remember did a Stop Go governance tour. When was that? Must have been last year. We'll bring him on the show and find out. Anyhow, he joins us now. Julian, welcome to the show. When did you do that Stop Co-Governance tour? What year? Was it 2022 or 2023?
No, it was last year from about February through till October.
Oh, so it was about this time last year. Okay.
Yeah.
You went all over the country. There were protests everywhere. You were denied the opportunity to speak at various civic institutions in this country. You're about to start on another speaking tour. What about this time?
Well, just to backtrack for a sec, you talked about the police and no confidence in the police. Well, we did 82 events last year talking about Stop Co-Governance, trying to stop it. And everywhere we went, we had protesters. So there'd be a sort of a format that we followed. The police would ring up and say, "Where's your event?" We'd tell them, and they would turn up, but so would all the protesters. And then we kind of felt that maybe the reason the police are so interested is they're actually working with the protesters. So when the police rang up, we tried it twice. At the very end of the tour, we said, "We're not telling you where we're meeting. Just going to have a meeting." And no protesters turned up. Twice. Too much to be a coincidence.
Yep, that's very interesting. Will you be playing? So you won't be telling the police this year if you go on a speaking tour?
No, we will not be working with the police because we had a clear sense in the second half of that tour that the police were working with the activists, giving the activists a hongi and laughing and joking around with them outside our meetings when they were wreaking havoc. And so we went, "Oh, this has got so bad. We're not going to do this anymore." The police are not for us, they're against us. They're working with the activists.
That is a serious allegation, Julian. We'll put that to the police and give them the opportunity to respond to that. I have a suspicion they won't.
Well, of course, they'll always justify it. They'll always say, "Oh, we're just having good relationships with whoever, activists, and we want to keep everything calm." And they'll be able to just put a spin on it to make it sound like it was okay, but it wasn't.
All right. So you haven't, just carrying on now, why the government's come in, it's made the coalition agreements between the government and particularly New Zealand First and ACT would seem, quite frankly, to have addressed many of your issues, Julian, that you raised last year, from stopping co-governance of Three Waters to Māori names to getting rid of Māori Awards. Are you happy with the progress that's been made over the last 6 months?
No.
Okay.
It's only just a tiny little start. We had 49 checkpoints to tick off for the first 100 days, and I went through all those carefully. There's only 4 that relate to anything like co-governance. They stopped all work on Hei Puapua. They introduced legislation to disestablish the Māori Health Authority, introduced legislation to repeal Three Waters, and start work on to improve the quality of regulation. And that could include Māori, because I believe iwi have far too much say into regulation, into local governance and consents. And Russell Cootes with the America's Cup thing, the regatta down in Christchurch, he pointed that. He said, I can't believe how much influence iwi's having in these kind of decisions. Why the hell are they involved? Why? And so, no, I would give the government a very poor report card. They have pushed through Maori wards, and having a referendum. But David Seymour wanted it to happen pretty much immediately, and it won't be actioned until 2028. Even if they do decide to have a referendum in every single council in New Zealand, it can't be actioned until 2028. Well, why not? Why not straight away? Who said that? Why not at the next election make it absolutely the next local body election, which is this year? Why not action it straight away? Have a referendum, tally it all up, and then say yes or no. Make it democratic. Why lead it for 3 years? 4
Right.
years.
Okay. What about the progress in Māori names of government departments? I seem to see all the government departments still seem to have their Māori names to me, and they're still routinely perceived as having only a Māori name.
Well, I went on the internet this morning just to check that out, and they either have a completely Maori name and no English translation, or they have a Maori name in great big letters and a little tiny English translation at the bottom, underneath it. And so the message is, the Maori name is dominating. The European, the English language name is secondary and not very important. And we want that completely reversed.
Well, which is what I understood the coalition agreement to say, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I thought, great, that's one thing. Winston Peters was pushing that. Winston started off with a hiss and a roar, and I thought, this guy's he's looking prime ministerial. He was amazing. But he's gone quiet. I think he might have got tired from the first few speeches. But he was amazing. He came out of the blocks, fighting. But it's all gone. It's all gone. Pretty quiet on the coalition.
He is. To be fair, he is the minister, the deputy prime minister. He's the minister of foreign affairs. He spends a good deal of his time overseas, it would seem.
Oh, it's a shame because we so need him here. He was a bright light in a dark place, that guy.
All right. So, what about the rest of what you wanted to get rid of? The Waitangi Tribunal, you were very strong on. You believed that it was corrupt, and I think you made that claim.
Yep.
That doesn't seem to be doing anything other than making life difficult for the government. That if there's the least complaint about a government change of policy in the Māori direction, off they go to the treaty or to the Waitangi Tribunal, it would seem.
Oh, look, I know, Michael, this is so bad because, out of the 49 points in the first 100 days, only, like I said, only 4 had to do with co-governance and all this stuff to do with the Waitangi Tribunal or everything you and I are mentioning, Maori names of government departments. And then in the second quarter plan, there's only one aspect that deals with co-governance and all the issues that the New Zealand public went to war on in their voting in last October. And so it looks like Luxton, and I can tell you I do not trust that guy. I don't mind saying that. He is playing around with minor stuff when he should be dealing with the major stuff, which is treaty issues, co-governance, Treaty of Waitangi, Maori names, English language. The things that I want to see gone are the abolition of the Maori seats. Over 30% of people in Parliament now would say they're a Maori, and yet Maori's only 16% of the population. So they're overrepresented in Parliament as it is. Why have Maori seats anymore? They should have gone. Remove all provisions that require public servants to learn Te Reo. We wanted that gone, where they do not have to learn Te Reo. You know that university students, this was Gary Judd was talking about this on his interview with Leighton Smith. University students, everyone coming into Auckland University next year is going to have to do a compulsory course on Maori. Same with law students. Everyone. This means students from overseas who come here are going to find themselves in a class learning all Maori stuff. Why? Another thing we want to remove is all te reo from public signage. Most Maori speak English as their first language. Very, very few speak Maori as their first language.
God, I do almost say none.
Or none, probably, yeah. You know, your piece that you did on the green transport was absolutely incredible. Probably the best piece I've heard in a year from anybody. It was amazing, Michael. So,
sorry, just to explain that you're talking about Mr. Green of Green Transport, who argued that he should escape criminal conviction because essentially he was Māori and would hurt his mana. That one.
Yeah, and he was let off by the court. He was discharged by the court. I think that's absolutely horrific because what that did is it's made tikanga, Māori law, Māori religion, Māori philosophies, because that's what tikanga is, has become part of New Zealand law. And when you pointed out that guy was let off his charge because he was a Māori and it would affect his mana, that set a precedent for all Māori around the country.
Yep.
It's honestly, it's horrific. How could that have happened?